for joining us for another edition of the Gringo Show. We hope you missed us during the break. I know I missed you. We got a lot to catch up on, and as tradition, when we pause, we'd like to update you on what was missed. On April 10th, the country voted on whether to revoke the president's mandate or let him finish out the last 2.5 years of his 6-year term. AMLO won with a decisive 93% of the vote, but only 18% of the population eligible to vote turned out to the polls. The referendum requires 40% to be binding. This result was less of a surprise than the time they gave me cake at my birthday and they pushed my face into it. But it was fine. The cake was full of my face grease and everyone enjoyed it. And you like that. You like that face grease, right, on your cake. Then a few days later, the president pushed his controversial energy reform to the national legislature to finally get it passed. The Morena camp say that the reform would give control of its resources back to the people. Environmentalists and other foreign governments, such as the United States, had opposed the bill, citing that it would take the country back into time because it favored dirty energy, fossil fuels instead of clean energy, and the concern that the government doesn't do a good job managing this stuff because Pemex is more in debt than a recent college graduate. The bill made it to the lower chamber and failed to muster a supermajority to make it constitutional. AMLO was very angry and called those who voted no traitors to the country, in which Mana said, "No, it's the butterflies, the butterflies." Mariposa traicionera. You get it? I like Mana, I'm a gringo, all right? So that's what happened while we were gone, but the country has been talking about another tragic event that caused a lot of heartache and parents worried about the safety of their children. 18-year-old Debanhi Escobar was found dead inside a cistern of a motel in the northern state of Nuevo Leon last week. She had decided to go to a party on the outskirts of Monterrey with some friends. Without going into detail, they left her there, sent a driver to get her, and for some reason got into a fight with the driver and exited the car in the middle of nowhere near the motel where she was found days later. When she got out of the car, the driver took a photo of her, and that photo has now become a symbol for what is plaguing the country. 9 missing women are registered on average each day, and 8 young women have disappeared in just 10 days in April in Monterrey and its surrounding areas, but the protection of women and girls in the country. Women got back on the streets over the weekend to make their voices heard, especially in Mexico City on Sunday, where thousands marched in protest, making their way to the Angel, and again, a possible clash with the Zumba class happening nearby. Marching is important and can help bring more attention to what is happening, but there's a long road ahead because if the government is not motivated to fix the justice system, these types of things will keep happening. Good people need to run for office and people need to vote. But on a lighter note, speaking of Reforma, there is one circle called Glorieta de la Palma due to the fact that there was a very large, tall palm tree that grew there for 100 years. Problem was, there was a fungus amongst it. A nasty fungus, like the time you went to that hippie rave in Tulum and then started itching a few days later. The tree had to be cut down, and now the city is asking for you to vote for what to replace it. The leaders are this tree, or a large statue of the boy who works at OXXO. Ooh. By the way, on Sunday there was a ceremony and everyone was hugging the tree. And in other unrelated news, there's fungus outbreak amongst tree lovers in Mexico City. Commented one tree lover, "I did it for the palma." Unfortunately, I need to use this next segment to talk about Trump. I don't want to, but unfortunately, when he opens his mouth, he can cause an international problem. Let me explain. Last weekend, Trump held a rally in Ohio because one thinks he's preparing his 2024 presidential bid, or he liked the fact that free McDonald's they offer him at the end of the rally. Who knows? And at this rally, he was boasting like a man with small hands that he had a meeting with Chancellor Marcelo Ebrard and forced him to send 28,000 troops to the border, or he would put tariffs on Mexican goods, and that Ebrard was kowtowing or inclinándose to Trump. Take a look.
I've never seen anybody fold like that. They said it would be an honor to have 28,000 free soldiers.
You know, this is the shit that gets Mexicans really mad at Americans, especially when it's a towering political figure and it's not okay. Even if you like Trump, imagine what types of choices the Mexican government had to make because tariffs are crippling and it's not really nice to poke fun about it. Ebrard had to answer this nonsense in this Twitter statement. What happened yesterday is a man campaigning for the anti-Mexicanism that characterizes him. In this government, we're patriots, and we have nothing to be ashamed about. Good for you, Ebrard. And the interesting thing is that AMLO and Trump are chummy. So on Monday, he said he liked Trump, even though he's a capitalist, but also said, generally speaking, that no one should use Mexico as a piñata. And instead, I think Mexico should make piñatas of Trump and freely distribute them at children's birthday parties in the United States. We're going to leave you with the great ingenuity of a huachicolero. Huachicolero. Sounds like that, right? Who decided to market his stolen gas in this small town. You gotta love it. That does it for this edition of The Gringo Show. Thanks so much for joining us. If you like us, great, please share on your social networks as we are reading the news, watching social media, and translate it for you so you don't have to, and hoping to make you laugh as well. It's a comedy show. We'll see you next week.
Gringo, Mexico is laughing thanks to you.